Folks, it's Brian, and I am back from tour. We're podcasting again. Got a fresh, hot new episode for you today. As always, if you want to support this show on Patreon, go to patreon.com/late night. Got video versions, ad-free versions, all that great stuff. It is just a great way to support us, and we appreciate it. Anyway, I hate drawing these intros out. You know it's my least favorite thing in the world. I just want to get to the point and really get in there and do a great episode for you. So enjoy this. And if you came to see NSP on tour, thanks so much for supporting the band that way too. We had a great time, and thank you.
Welcome back, Brian.
Oh, well, thank you. I was waiting for it.
Oh, okay. Well, since you were waiting for it, Prodigal Son returns. How's it feel?
Yeah, pretty prodigal. Honestly, feeling prodigal right now. I am so tired.
Yeah, of course.
I'm very tired.
Are you catching up on sleep?
I did sleep more on, I got back on Saturday after one night where we had a 3 a.m. border crossing into Canada. It was supposed to be earlier, but there was some non-interesting and whatever. There was some issue that is I'm not even sure what it was, but it wasn't a big deal, but we needed to wait for it. And that delayed us by a few hours. So what was going to be a reasonable time ended up being insanity. And so there was a late night border crossing followed by a 2-hour of sleep night to get my early flight home the next day on Saturday. And Saturday night, I slept more than I have slept in recent memory, more than I can tell you. I slept 11 hours, which I could not even tell you the last time I've slept 11 hours.
Yeah, even just going to your one show where I was awake until 3 a.m. because if I'm out late, I can't take my meds until I get home. So that's like a good 2 hours tacked on because I have horrible insomnia. I'm still I'm pissed at how much it's fucked up my sleeping schedule. I hate it.
Yeah, and I was up till, routinely up till 2, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Some nights a little later. It was a really great tour. We had great shows. We had a great time. There were no real issues this leg. The closest thing that came to an issue was worrying about, because our LA show was the day of the No Kings protest and about a block away from the curfew zone. Would there be an issue with that? We knew it was unlikely, but we were ready for it. There was no issue. It was totally fine.
Yeah. I thought it was nice during the Wolves of Glendale set with the Ricky lyric, I was punched a cop.
Yes, everyone was
the crowd went nuts.
Yeah, they said it twice. I noticed that. That was really great. But there, we heard a few sirens and saw a few helicopters, and that was about the extent of it.
Yeah, I was out on the little balcony area at the Bellwether, smoking a dart. And just talking to Jory about how the endless texts from family members are you okay? In the general news coverage of LA is collapsing and on fire.
Fucked. Yeah, and Rachel, who works downtown, was like, it's fine. There's a little area where some shit's going down, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's because to people who don't live here, LA is a regular sized city with a regular amount of people in it and not a behemoth that is massive.
Yes, an insanely large city with where when something serious goes down, you basically don't notice unless you're right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because LA was just literally on fire. Not the same.
No, the fires were a very real thing that everybody felt in one way or another.
Yeah.
Some people more tragically than others, but this was where, even at the venue, which was next to downtown, but not in downtown, totally, like, wouldn't really have noticed anything. See, you know, couple sirens passing, but that's always the case anyway. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the closest we came to drama, and it wasn't even drama. It was just like, if we, we'll know day of the show if something goes down, but otherwise we didn't want to cancel it unless we needed to. And if we had thought there was an actual safety issue, of course we would have done it, but it was totally fine. But yeah, great tours, great shows. I mean, I'm still recovering. But I just, what a hugely positive, awesome experience it is. And this is, I don't know when NSP tours again. It's probably not next year. Maybe the next possible would be the year after that. Next year we have a different tour idea, which we talked a little bit about in our VIP sections a little bit. But there's another band I'm in, which the plan is to tour next year.
Interesting.
Very interesting. There's another band. Yeah.
The real question is, when the fuck are you guys performing Eat Ass Get Money?
Eat Ass Get Money has not been written yet. Like, we have to make it first.
Right. The song that doesn't exist.
Song that doesn't exist, yeah.
And that we haven't already talked about existing on this show. Definitely doesn't exist.
Nope.
Definitely
That's
doesn't.
the party line.
Definitely doesn't say a year in the song that it.
Lots of years. There are lots of years out there.
Mm-hmm. There are plenty of years, and that's certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm. I need a new webcam. Do you see this flickering with the color? It's so weird.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Analog horror. Brian, jump scare. That's actually really sick. You should keep it.
I do kind of like it.
You should get an old camcorder.
Oh, can I time it with my eyebrows? We actually, on this tour, our lighting guy, Josh, found an old camcorder in a Goodwill, and we just started hooking it up at tons of shows, and we got amazing VHS coverage.
I know. I saw some of McKenna's performance, which was amazing, by the way, on that footage. Looking very good. Really
great, especially when viewed on a tiny CRT, with like the green volume slider and all that stuff.
Oh, amazing.
Well, I can talk about my tour memories, but I want to hear, Leighton, about your experience coming to the show. Because this was, I believe, your first time seeing Ninja Sex Party and Twerp perform live. Is that correct?
I saw your show with Super Guitar Bros that was here.
Right. That's why I said and Twerp.
And Twerp. Jesus Christ. And I've seen Twerp play without you guys. So I guess technically I've not seen you together.
Technically, I'm correct. What a shock.
Yes. And also Wolves of Glendale, who I was very, very happy to see and who did a wonderful set.
Yes, we didn't have openers at most of the shows, but in LA, the moment we scheduled this, I reached out to the Wolves and I said, hey guys, would you be down? And they were immediately in, and I'm so happy they could do it because they fucking crushed.
Yes, big time. Just for those guys to be as funny as they are and also such talented instrumentalists. Great. I mean, it's the same with you guys and with Twerp. As always, when I go to see any of your shows, I'm like, how the fuck do they do that? That's crazy. This is crazy. How does anybody do this? What was my experience at the show? The Bellwether is great. Very fun venue.
Nice venue.
I don't know. What can I say? It was wonderful.
What did you like? What are there any things that you didn't like? And I'm asking honestly. And
anything I didn't like, I think I can't say on this show.
Okay.
It's a take too hot for the show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, specifically about you because it's extremely hurtful.
Who would? Okay. Well, which can you just indicate, maybe with a hand gesture, so it's not captured on audio, which Twerp member would you lose? I mean, you've got. Sure.
Okay. Here are the gestures. Do the other gestures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
that's my favorite hand gesture. Yeah, I if I had to lose one.
Yeah, I know your vote is to kick all but one out, but if you had to kick only one member of Twerp out of Twerp. By the way, patreon.com/late night if you want to see my hand gestures.
They were all really good. I would have to say the little guy hiding under no.
Oh.
The littler guy hiding under Sung's cone.
Oh yeah.
Because that's why he wears it. There's
Sung.
There's a
Yes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Sung Esquire.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is an additional. I don't know if anybody back home knows, and this is a little insider baseball how the sausage gets made. But why do you think he wears the cone? Mm-hmm. Littler guy under
he
there.
Keeps that's right his legal representation on him at all times in case he needs to pop it off.
Well, yeah, he has a traffic cone on his head. The number of like hit and run accidents that are surely happening.
That's
you
right.
You need a guy on your side.
The way he sources those cones is he goes out to traffic sites and just grabs them. And to quote him, "Consequences be damned."
Mm-hmm,
that's a Dr. Sung quote.
And he has to wear the cone because the littler guy has a very loud voice.
Yeah, that's right.
And he doesn't have the benefit of the talk. Actually, the talk box is to obscure the endless screaming that happens at all time when Mr. Sung is covered up.
Yeah.
It's a real yellow wallpaper, orange wallpaper situation happening in there. So he's getting evicted.
So what did you like about the show? Since you can't say any of the negative things without getting canceled. You can tell me later and I'll tweet them and attribute them to you.
Yeah, as always. Let's see. The energy on stage is great. As a very low energy person myself, and also don't listen to much high energy music, it's a very infectious vibe, and it helps that your audience goes fucking crazy. And
They go
watching
nuts.
Watching them enjoy it with the added benefit of this will be one of my peaches, but I have a new glasses prescription for the first time in 6 years.
Yes.
And I can see stuff now, which is crazy. So standing on the balcony in the VIP section at the Bellwether without glasses, I can't make out a single face. It's just like a blob. With glasses, I can see all the people playing Balatro in the crowd, of which there were like a dozen.
Were they really? Amazing.
Yeah, in the lead up to the show.
Yeah.
I have to say that for the NSP part, and not just the twerp part, and not to malign any of our friends.
No, of course.
You really steal the show, Brian, and I'm not
Thank you.
trying to flatter you. I'm just spitting facts here. I think, vaudeville is alive and well.
Yeah, well, intentionally so. All I can say is the weird part of the show, the weird part about the way this show has evolved over the years is, initially it was when we were first doing, performing our little songs and kind of one act show in comedy clubs in New York, I was pretty much always, in a vaudeville sense, the straight man, and Danny was the funny guy. What the show has now evolved into is almost every bit that happens not in a song. In the song Danny's singing, he's saying funny things. Those are the jokes. Outside of that, I am the comedy engine on stage. And it's so fun, and I love doing it, mostly because it involves bothering other people. But
of course.
Yeah, and that was not a conscious decision, really. It just kind of evolved into that. So, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, next to you, what's that guy's name? Dan Chopped Liver, in my estimation, when Ninja Brian's on stage.
Oh, the other guy in Ninja Sex Party. Yes, right. Yes, that guy. Yes.
I think he writes all the songs himself with
That's right, but with no help input from anybody else. Yes, exactly right. Yeah, he also records them and plays all the instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impressive, but it doesn't hold a candle to shoving 40 years of corn down your pants.
Well, actually, you know what Rachel and Audrey got me?
What? Wow. That's beautiful.
A corn pillow.
Are you going to put it next to the Jeremy Renner modesty pillow?
I am. That
You
is where it's
should.
going to live back there.
Like he's chowing down.
Oh, yeah.
And not
Guy loves
eating it
corn.
horizontal. He's going full vertical.
So and no bites.
You're going to like the way he eats an ear of corn.
You'll be thinking about that all night long. Now, you actually witnessed something kind of rare because in LA, so what happens, for those of you who didn't come to a show, first of all, shame on you.
Cowards.
Second of all, the show has also evolved into basically I get to do a thing in the middle of the show so Dan can take a little break, go off stage, have a drink of water, do whatever that guy does. And I can be in charge of the stage for a moment. And what we landed on this time for the acoustic tour, I did a butt dance. I wrote a little rap and did a butt dance to it. For this, the original idea was Ninja Brian salutes the pop girlies, and I was going to do like a Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo thing, which I thought would have been really fun.
Yeah.
But in thinking about it, I couldn't think of any way to make that to give it a twist.
Yeah,
that really worked. I didn't want to make fun of them because a lot of that music's great, and I just it didn't really land for me.
Didn't feel right.
And then I was like, well, what if I did a corn thing? What if we played a corn? Original idea was a medley. It ended up being just Freak on a Leash. And the twist is that we got a giant wicker basket full of corn, and I shotgunned it into my pants while Twerp played Freak on a Leash and Dr. Sung sang lead vocals.
Which I gotta say, the lead vocals for that were great.
It's incredible. Have you ever looked up the lyrics to Freak on a Leash?
Nope.
Leighton, I'd like you to do the following right now.
My hands are tied, Brian. The dog is on top of both of them.
A webulatory browser, if you will.
Brian, I would much rather you read me the lyrics to Freak on a Leash.
See,
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it'd be better if you did it, but if you insist, fine.
Look, the dog is on top of my hands.
Fine. Hold on. I'm finding them. And here we go. Should I read the whole thing? There's a lot.
You go ahead and do what feels right in your heart.
I'm going to read the, I guess, bridge onward. Okay. I'll take the chorus ahead of it. Something takes a part of me. You and I were meant to be. A cheap fuck for me to lay. Which I actually didn't realize was the case until right now. Something takes a part of me. Boom da da dum naima. Da 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 boom da da dum nae go. So fight something on the Minga-oo. Fight some things they fight. So something on the Minga-oo. Fight some things they fight. Fight something off the Hiahoo. No, some things they fight. Fight something on the Mingahoo. Fight something they fight. To quote Korn, fight something's on the Mingahoo. The Mingahoo. What is going on? I asked Song when we first ever heard her sing this. I was like, I didn't actually look it up. I was like, what are those lyrics? And he's like, oh, it's fight something on the Mingahoo. And I was like, the what? The Mingahoo? Yes. I was like, the actual lyrics are Mingahoo? Yes. And then it puts one line with a Hiahoo.
I feel less bad never knowing what the words to that song were. And I'm glad that I made you read them because now I'm in the know. That song is basically just Simlish.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right.
What does Genius Lyrics have to say about the meaning of this song?
Oh, I was just looking. Let's see. Does it give meaning?
I love when it opens the side tab because it's all community submitted, and then somebody just
God.
It's like massively downvoted. Someone just being wrong.
Okay, according to Genius in the Q&A section, Jonathan Davis said, quote, "That's my song that rails out against the music industry. It's about how I feel like I'm a fucking prostitute. Like I'm this freak paraded around, but I got corporate America's fucking making all the money while it's taking a part of me. It's like they stole something from me. They stole my innocence, and I'm not calm anymore. I worry constantly. I'm not just talking about the record business. Everything's involved. I've lost something. I'm not all there anymore. I love what I do, but I wish I could have it all back. It's like the Peter Pan syndrome. I wish I could still fly." That's from a 1998 press release.
From a press release? Oh boy, I thought that was like talking off the cuff in an interview because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Do you know the name of one of the people in Korn besides Jonathan Davis?
No.
Brian Welch.
Wow, your alter ego.
Brian spelled the same. We share 4 out of 5 letters in our last name. In fact, we share almost all the letters. The only difference is he's got this and I've got this.
Okay.
That's the L becoming a T.
Easy. So are you going to kill him and take his place?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Wonderful. I think
that's why I've been practicing the songs.
Korn will really benefit from having a ninja in the band, I think.
So yeah, the Korn part was really fun. And what I was going to say in LA, so we came up for the second leg of the tour. We decided to I'd dump all the corn in my pants. Sometimes there'd be some ears left over. He would dump the rest of those into my pants. And then he had a little kind of little pouch on his thigh that he would secrete one in. Secrete? I've never actually been trying to pronounce.
I think it's secret because secrete's a different thing.
Yeah, it is. Okay, great. So he would put one in, and I would he'd tap it out to be like, "Look, I got it all," and I'd be, and then I would pointer dog style point at his leg and take the corn out, and we decided to go back to back and take a certain number of paces, and then he would toss the corn at me so I could try to catch it in my pants from however many paces. Now we started doing 5 paces. In LA we tried 8, and we had successfully done 7. He had the worst throw imaginable. I mean, it went over my shoulder. It was nowhere near where it needed to be to get into
Did
my
anybody
pants.
catch the corn?
It fell in front of the barricade by the audience, and a security guard handed it to me. I handed it to him, and I took his hand and shoved it down my pants very slowly so he could place the corn in my pants. That's the only time that happened on the entire tour.
Wow.
And then at the last show in Vancouver, we did a full stage. We did 10 paces, and we fucking made it.
Yo,
That's lost
amazing.
My mind. It is very hard for me to break character, to get me to break character on stage. I was just like, it was so, everybody on stage was like, I can't believe it happened. Yeah, it was really great. So yeah, and then I guess we sang a bunch of songs.
You did. You also mentioned something about the particular quality of the LA corn.
Oh, yes. Well, so one thing you learn, Leighton, when you're in the corn game, as I am, is that...
the corn industry?
Yeah. Corn, when you purchase it, it can get a little, shall we say, wet. And especially when you have to sign the corn, which I did. We would wrap tape around it, and I'd sign it because we're going to sell it afterwards. It was really hard to sign because you'd get the Sharpie and the Sharpie would get wet and it would stop working. The LA corn was so damp. And a lot of the corn's a little damp, not in Phoenix for obvious reasons. But the LA corn was awful. I mean,
I was
the wettest
watching
corn
it
of the night.
Spit liquid, spit corn liquid, ejaculate corn liquid, if you will.
Yeah.
I saw kernels flying.
Yeah.
It seemed not pleasant to have in your pants.
Yes, there was.
Now, are you raw under the hold on? Welcome to Late Night with Brian Wacht. That's Brian Wacht. I'm here reconsidering my life choices. Do you have additional pants on under the corn pants?
Well, now, Leighton, what a question. So I'll answer it. Here's my standard setup, okay? Here's what I wear. I have my ninja costume. Under the costume, I have a t-shirt, and I take my belt off my jeans and wrap it around the t-shirt because I need to put my pack on there for my audio. And my pants won't stay up if I put it on the pack. So I have a belt, normal, belt that I wear with my jeans, on my waist, and I put the pack on that. And then I have boxers, shoes, and socks, and that's it.
Wow.
That is generally what I'm wearing. Now.
And are the pants sweats?
No, they are not sweats. They are some kind of synthetic fabric. They're,
okay.
I don't know exactly what. Polyester adjacent, I guess. I don't know exactly what. As the show went on, the pants became so distended with corn that they were increasingly hard to keep up, especially when they were weighed down with upwards of 40 ears of corn. Mm-hmm. So towards the end of the tour, I literally had to like bunch them and grab them and hold them up for the most of the bit because otherwise they would fall off. I started wearing a pair of boxer briefs under the boxers just in case everything went down. Because
that would have been so funny, though.
It would have been so funny and also the worst moment of my entire life.
It would seem totally planned, though.
It would seem totally planned, but I was like, the worst case scenario is like I have some kind of wardrobe malfunction.
You have a
Lenny
stage. Kravitz situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I could
was looking
see it.
At the picture again the other day.
It's so funny. I was like, I have to, even though it's very unlikely that anything's going to happen, I'm just gonna not worry about this situation, because those pants they lost a lot of their elasticity by the end of the tour. So yeah.
How often was corn falling out the bottom?
Well, never, because what I would do is right after the previous song, I would tuck my pants into my socks.
Smart.
So that they wouldn't. Actually, now we're really getting into it. I changed which pants I was using between the first leg and the second leg. The first leg of the tour, corn would occasionally fall out because I wasn't tucking into the bottoms. Second leg, I used pants that have a little bit looser legs, so I had to tuck them into the socks. And then no corn fell out. Sometimes I would miss, and the corn would fall on the stage, especially sometimes I get a little like twist and let it do a flip into the pants. Sometimes I would miss that, but generally it's not falling out of the bottom. And then at the end of the bit, Sung had to come and extract it from the pants.
Yeah. The thing about first and second legs is they really should both be going inside the pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well done. Very nice.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm trying to, honestly, I'm trying to think of screw ups on stage.
Yeah, I was going to ask because you mentioned screwing something up after the show, and it was like nobody fucking noticed.
I forgot to play a very small part in one song, which was not a big deal. The funniest thing that happened was that we did a cover of The Cars, Just What I Needed. Soon to be out on Under the Covers Volume 4, October 10th.
Wow.
Ninja Sex Party. I would play guitar, and Sung would basically it was a MIDI controller, a wireless MIDI controller that routed through his keyboard. Oh. And a couple times I went to play it, and one note just sustained, and that's all that happened. So, this line is da 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 da. That happened a few times. Then we troubleshot, whatever, and fixed it. But that was the biggest on stage malfunction. The occasional dropped note. Something did happen during 69, the LA show. We had a brief hiccup, but it was very small. That honestly, we really didn't have many issues. No, we're on a click and there are tracks and nothing got fucked with that. Meowch controls playback on those, and he had two redundant laptops. So if one crapped out, the other one would just take up the slack. And those are coded to the lights as well. So everything is being controlled through that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So minor issues, like people fuck up. It happens. Like these are some of the best musicians I've ever met, but people are routinely just like, play the wrong part, blank on lyrics, whatever. It happens. It's normal performance stuff.
I think one of my favorite things about watching Twerp perform is the synchronized sidestepping that Meowch and Phobos do together. It's
pretty great.
So charming.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. I love watching them. And then as the tour and I started messing around with Meowch and sung a lot. I've always fucked around with Phobos because he's right next to me. But when I could really start going over to Meowch and sung, especially sung, and like interacting with them, that's really fun. Hav is harder because he's behind us on a riser.
Yeah, he did a really good bit where after you shook his hand, he stared at his hand for like a very extended period of time.
That's fun.
Yeah. I also because watching you in the costume doing your vaudeville bits, it's very difficult to reconcile that Brian with you, Brian. I think Jory and I were both commenting on that. But do you feel like if you were forced to do a show where you don't have the mask on, do you think you could do it with the same gusto?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do that with, Trey Magnifique.
I know you do, but it's a different bit with Ninja Brian.
You mean, as NSP?
Yeah, as NSP.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Honestly, no. I don't think it would be. It's too different. It's not.
Well, it's not about if it's funny or not, just that it's I feel like, do you feel like part of it is having the mask and not having your face visible emboldens a lot of the stuff?
I don't think it emboldens it. It's that it what it does is it takes speaking off the table, and thus I have to ramp it up with the other stuff. If I can suddenly talk, then it's a totally different thing,
Right.
And
in this scenario, you wouldn't be able to talk either. Maybe you have like duct tape over your mouth.
I just don't think it's as much fun. I could definitely do it if I had to, but it just wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Not for me. And I do, the mask, oh my God, I can't even tell you how much it sucks wearing a mask during a summer show. And you've got like corn, sweat, and tears all coming out of
episode title,
every hole. And it's rough. Like, especially after the corn bit, I am like there's sweat dumping down my mask. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, you boys are a particularly sweaty bunch.
Yeah, just especially sung notoriously.
Really?
But,
who's the least sweaty? The fans are dying to know.
Well, honestly, Dan doesn't sweat.
He doesn't count.
Yeah. Drummers always sweat a lot. It's it's Meowch or Phobos. Which one is the less sweaty? Probably Phobos a bit.
Yeah, I think having fur doesn't help.
Yeah, but they also have big fans that are pointing right at them the whole show on stage.
Oh, that's
they
good.
Bring them along. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. It was just, we had a great crew. Just great vibes throughout. Everybody is cool. Everybody does a great job. We all have a good time, and everybody is nice. Bunch of places I'd never been before. Went to Little Rock. Had a day off in Little Rock. I went to a handbag museum there. That was fun. And the Arkansas Museum of Fine Art. Very nice. I was texting with Bill Childs to get his Little Rock recommendations, and he sent me a bunch of cool places, including those two.
Wow. So you could say those places in Little Rock did a big rock?
Mm-hmm. I could say that.
They rocked big? Fuck.
They rocked big. I knew what you were going for, and I pretended you said it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Greensboro, my first time in Greensboro.
Wow. How'd you like it?
I barely got a sense of the town. We did go see Friendship that day, though, so that was mostly what we did.
Sounds like you were seeing Friendship every day of the tour.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was part of it.
Is that where you went to the The Waffle House?
No, that was Atlanta.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I had no idea what you were doing. Like,
Neither did I.
No, that was Atlanta. That was downtown Atlanta. Greensboro, I got a sandwich, then we went to see Friendship, and then I did a solo show there. And then weirdly, the guy I bought a sandwich from was working at the venue at Greensboro. Nice guy.
Which venue was it there?
Oh my God. I can't remember the name now. Something Box, I think. Hold on. Ninja, Brian, Greensboro. It was the Flatiron.
Sick.
Nice little venue. Really nice, actually. So let's see. What other towns did I visit? Well, a bunch of people. We had a day off in between Austin and Denver, and the bus had a day off in Amarillo. Now, a bunch of people tried the 72-ounce steak challenge. I came home for Audrey's graduation, which you know because you were there as well.
Yeah, no, I watched the live stream of the
Yes,
72-ounce
that's right.
steak
We watched
challenge.
it at lunch. We went out for
we
sushi
did.
lunch, and we saw a bunch of people. I don't know if they want to be named, but a bunch of people do it
Yeah.
unsuccessfully all.
Which, it's horrifying. I watched a video of the lady who has done it in 5 minutes, and watching
This
her
tiny
eat,
little woman,
yeah, is like watching a feral animal, and just seems
Yeah.
miserable. Any individual bit of that meal would have been, I'd be full.
Awful.
Yeah.
There was so much leftover steak. I got to Denver and we
course.
were all making steak sandwiches. It was insane. 72
I mean,
ounces
steak
of
sandwich is kind of the best form of steak.
It's great, but when you're forced to eat it, lest the steak go bad,
Yeah.
that's the worst version.
High stakes situation. I do.
Indeed.
We can go back to Torch Chat, but I do want to take a moment and discuss Audrey's 5th grade graduation, which
Yes, let's do that. So, you were kind enough to join us for that.
I was happy
That
to
was
do it.
also an insane day. I flew out of Austin at 6 a.m., got home basically 45 minutes before, and just in time, and then had a day with the family and flew out the next day. And you met us at our place, and we went to Audrey's school, and you got to experience the majesty of an elementary school graduation in an auditorium. So what were
It was
your
beautiful.
thoughts?
It was so cute. I love flat children singing. It's the most charming thing in the world.
The dead-eyed stare when they're just like,
Yeah, Audrey being the one person on the stage at any given time who's just like rocking and rolling.
a lot of this occasional, like,
Yes.
I remember at one point I poked you and I was like, and she's just like rocking out in the back doing God knows what.
Yeah. And there was the point where we thought that she fell off the bleacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Precious children, I'm not allowed. Sorry. I'm not around children much. I guess because I'm not allowed to be.
I make this face now when you say stuff.
Is there a combination of words or one compound word that you're thinking when you make that face?
The fuck.
Yeah, there we go. It's horrible because now friends and I say that to each other, you know, as Brian would say. The fuck.
The fuck.
Yeah, so I haven't. It's funny at that age how some of the children look 5 and the rest of them look like adults. That they've hit puberty and they're taller than everyone.
There is a strong bifurcation in what I mean. There's some kids in the middle, of course, but like Audrey still looks like a little kid. Some of her peers look like teenagers. They're exactly in that tween kind of era where, you know, they're at different stages.
Yeah. Maybe the most notable part, other than just
I know what you're going to say.
I know. So the teachers gave speeches for each. I keep thinking about this, Brian.
Oh, me too.
The teachers gave speeches for each of the classes, and it was, you know, nice for some of them. There was one teacher who was like, you know, you're kind, you're special, you're loved, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. Then Audrey's teacher gets something. Can you explain what his speech was like.
His speech was perhaps the most passive-aggressive thing I've ever witnessed in my life. It was 5 minutes. I'd say
the
not
longest
more than
one.
that. It would say about 5 minutes of
Longest speech.
just airing sour grapes. And the whole speech was like, so, what can I say about this year? It was challenging. And one might say that the students in this class had a listening issue.
Issues with boundaries.
Issues with boundaries. And, you know, we somehow, I don't know how, got through it. And it was all stuff like that where there was not
and, you know, maybe they're catching up on some of the socializing that they missed during COVID. And boy, were
that
they
was
doing
weird. Yeah, it was just like, dude, just say, wow, what a year. Good luck in middle school. Thank you so much.
He
Bye.
didn't say like one positive thing other than like learning about boundaries will help you in the next stage of your education.
It would have been better had it been openly hostile.
Yes.
It just reeked of, you and I were sitting next to each other, and I believe at some point you turned to me, you were like, what the fuck is happening right now? It was awful.
You were like palpably mad. I was also mad, but more bewildered. Like, you're beefing with a class of 10-year-olds. Calm down.
Exactly. And I don't know how, like, maybe you had a rough year. I don't know. Certainly every time I interacted with this teacher, he told me he was having a rough year. Fine. People have easier years and harder years. You know what? It's part of your job to not publicly complain about it in front of the children.
Lie. Just lie.
Catch me as a parent. Fine with me to say, pull me aside and say, hey, you just, I'm kind of having a rough year with this class. Fine. Tell me personally. I don't care. Talk to your colleagues, etc. Don't say it in front of the kids. What are you doing? During
like a happy, this is a culminate. It's a big day. It's a big event.
Just be positive. It was insanity. It made me angry. Because I'm like, this is a guy that, like, his heart's in the right place. He wants to do a good job, and et cetera, et cetera. The intention I have no issue with. But come on. Oh, my God. Yeah.
So that was insane.
It was really, I was like, how is anybody in this auditorium getting through this right now? Because it was, there were other teachers who kind of fainted in that direction as well. Definitely a few of them said like weird passive aggressive things, but his was nothing but.
Yeah. Because they would also say positive shit too, where they would like cry or whatever.
Yeah. And that's fine. You can say like, oh, we had our ups and downs and whatever. Sure, that happens. That's a normal thing to say.
But no, it's like he was so audibly holding himself back in a way that made it really uncomfortable because you can tell he just wanted to be like, these motherfuckers.
Yes. That's right.
Like gently trying to make it child appropriate. No.
Pretty nuts.
Kids are not going to get the passive aggressiveness, or if you're trying to be funny, that's not going to land for a bunch of...
That is actually, I think part of this guy's thing is he is often trying to be funny and is bad at it, and it completely fails. I watched him do this a few times in front of other kids, and clearly he was trying to make a joke, but it just came across as snark. So I think
it's like
that's
when
part
you
of
do
the issue here.
The joke, but it's coming from a place of hostility, you feel
the brand.
it. And sometimes the hostility makes it funnier. And yes, this show is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
But when you're not funny and you're doing the joke because you're angry, actually.
And you don't have it is a question of distance, right? If you have zero distance from it and you're in it, you have to back off. If you can separate yourself a little bit, then great. This guy could not separate himself. So anyway, while our peers were eating an insane amount of steak, we were at this elementary school graduation.
Yep. And it was a treat.
Oh,
I'm very glad I got to go.
It's not a graduation, is it, Late?
Oh, my God. I don't know why the fuck they did this. To the point that a couple of days later, I was like, what do they call it? It was blank. We're about to say it. It was blank. No, that's so ridiculous. You're making that up. And then I checked the flyer that was still in my purse. Sure enough, I was invited to the culmination of the 5th grade class.
Just call it graduation. Why?
What?
I mean, what are we doing?
It smacks of like someone decided we needed to call it not graduation because something about that is problematic or would make kids feel bad. And my only thought is like, maybe some of them aren't graduating, and so it's called something else.
It reminded me of how my college couldn't call hamburgers because of like meat quality issues, so they called them hamburgs. We're serving hamburgers.
I love anytime you can't call something a thing for legal reasons.
Yes. We're serving I thought it was a typo at first. I was like, they're hamburgs? And it's like, yeah, we can't actually say hamburger.
There's a percentage of insect meat
or whatever
that we can't disclose.
So it felt like a legal thing where it's like any normal human would call this 5th grade graduation.
Also, culmination.
Culmination?
I'm not going to make jokes that I want to make because it's a 5th grade graduation.
That's correct.
It's culmination. Yes. So just culminating.
Yeah. Awful.
When was the last time you used the word culminate as an adult in a sentence?
Like 2 seconds ago talking about this, right? Like never.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad. That said, we had a great time. I was happy to be there. I was happy you were there. We went out to lunch. Nice day with Audrey. Yep. And then back to tour. It was this brief moment of respite in insanity.
It was great. Yeah. Best crowd, worst crowd.
There are no worst crowds, famously. I will say...
Correct answer. No. Correct answer. I set that one up for you and then out of the park.
I will say, we kindly requested that people not film the show on their phones. For whatever fucking reason, Austin, front row, 1 million people with their phone out the entire time. And I was like, guys, and this is partly on venue staff too. We told them we don't want anyone kicked out over this. Just like encourage them to put the phones down. Like no one should be getting like booted, but make them put the phone down. This venue staff did not care. And we had people right in front of me filming. Very distracting. That was the only place, we'd see occasional people with phones, but that was the only place where like there were probably 10 people right in the front filming the entire set.
That blows.
Didn't like it. It was a great show. But yeah, that wasn't cool.
Do people still do like bootleg tapes? Because you can get it if you want to hear the show. You can.
Yeah, I don't think really, but actually, I believe at one show with this camcorder, they did film the twerp set on VHS and sell a bootleg VHS of the twerp set.
Wow, that's awesome!
And there was only one, so isn't that fun?
I love that.
Best crowd. Vancouver was pretty great. Last show of the tour. Really good energy there. Boston was the best one by far for me because it's the biggest crowd and a kind of a hometown show in a way. That one I really liked. I think Atlanta was rowdy. Jesus Christ. Atlanta was like nuts. There are no bad crowds. Everyone who comes to see the show, like the crowds are all great. The venue staff says routinely, this is the loudest crowd we've ever had in here.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it makes watching from the vantage point of the balcony, like, they go crazy.
They say the loudest and the nicest also. Like people
Good
pick
combo.
up trash. It's generally, they like having the band and the crowd there, which is a very nice compliment.
Notable example of not picking up trash at this LA show. Somebody brought a box of tissues and then everybody filed out and the floor was just covered in the tissues and they were very decidedly not picking them up. If you bring a box of tissues to be silly, you better pick that shit up. Don't put it on venue staff. I know they got to clean anyway. Don't make their lives harder. What the fuck?
That's exactly right. Yep.
Rich and Jory and I were standing up on the balcony watching this happen. Like, pick up those tissues, you motherfucker. Yeah. Pick them up.
And I think it was probably for Orgy for One. There sometimes people take them and wave them, but yes, please pick them up. My goal with all these shows is I want everybody in the audience to have a good time. I want everybody on stage to have a good time. And I want that venue staff, like all of them, to be like, that was a great crew on and off stage. And I think generally we succeed. We have a really awesome, professional, kind crew. Nobody in the bands is being entitled or weird about shit. Like people are we're there to have a good time and do a good show. And there's no one's yelling at venue staff and being crazy about stuff, which is more than you can say for some bands. I'm talking about tour. The venue staff routinely is like, you guys are the best. Please come back anytime. Security routinely, we see dancing, which is unusual.
That's so cute.
In fact, okay, this is fun. So I did these solo shows on off nights and had my first Vegas Lounge performance as Trey.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah. So I went to, I got booked at the Virgin Hotel and Casino in the Shag Room. I did a free show. And basically, normally the off night show I did had 3 parts. It was me, then Ninja Brian, then Trey. This show is like, I'm just doing the whole thing as Trey. I did a 2-minute intro as myself and then was Trey the whole time. And the security guard there was so nice. He said, "Hey, my daughter's a fan, just want to let you know." And then he came up after the show and bought an album. I've never had a security guard buy an album from me before. He's like,
so
"Dude,
sweet.
that was so great. I can't wait to tell my kid, and please, I want to buy one of these albums."
That's
was really
so
nice.
cute. That kid flipped the fuck out.
Yeah, and I gave him I signed a headshot to her, on the house and
Nice.
stuff. But those solo shows were so fun. Biggest crowd, got about 150 people at one show, which was nice.
Nice.
Some of the shows were like 50-ish people. But really fun, just excuse for me to do stuff by myself. Have Hogan join for a couple of those shows.
Hey, lovely.
Yep, that was fun. But this is the first time I've done those shows where it was basically just me. And because in the past, when previous NSP tours we do with Super Guitar Bros or Twerp or whoever else was on the tour, this I was like, I didn't want, and Twerp didn't want to burn a show in a market that they were going to tour later.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. And now I have Trey, so I have a headlining act built in. And that was really fun.
That rules.
Yep.
I'm so glad.
I love doing those shows.
I seethe with jealousy every time all of you are on tour.
It's
My
the
friends
gamers
are all together and I don't get to be there.
I know. Believe me, we missed you. Your name came up a lot in contacts. We got to send this picture to Leighton. But yeah, it's truly the best people.
They really are.
Another fun moment. Aaron came to the Portland show and hung out for a long time after. I think I didn't see Susie. She might have come too. I don't know if she was there then. But Aaron came and just chilled out backstage. Oh, and so did Chris Grace. And because he was doing a run in Portland of Chris Grace and
that's
Scarlett
awesome.
Johansson. I saw it it came up on my Insta that day and I texted him. I was like, "Are you in Portland right now? Come to the NSP show." And he came and this was a fun moment. I had a couple of friends there and we're chatting, in the green room after the show. And this girl goes, "Are you Chris Grace?" And that
That's
was
so
nice.
cute.
Yeah. It was really
I was just
sweet to
thinking
see
about him
Chris.
the other day.
Well, he said he wants to come back on this show so he can roast me about my performance, which I heartily encourage.
Let's go.
So yeah, it was nice to see Chris. And a bunch of just lots of friends. So many friends that managing friends becomes a full-time job, as I mentioned to you. You are not one of the friends who managing becomes a full-time job of, but it's just some people are easier than others, let me just say.
Yes. And I was very happy to see McKenna, our friend McKenna,
Yep.
singing on Human Touch.
Sang Human's
Beautiful.
Touch. Yep. Did a great job.
Voice of an Angel,
Indeed.
the best. She said that, so I had sent her a video of me spraying my face with water during honey baked ham hours. I was just squirting it up and I sent that to her. She said that you walked up behind her and saw that and then just walked away. Is this true?
Not that I recall. No.
Called out. Okay. I think that's her anxiety talking.
That may have been true. I mean, I lurk. What can I say? I'm a lurker. It's what I do.
You do
now,
lurk.
I tend to lurk behind women a lot. It's not intentional, but it's just a thing that happens.
We all do.
It's biology laden. And
Jesus Christ. Okay, Yudkowsky.
Yeah. So I don't think I did that. Or if I did, it was just timing, like bad timing, and I don't remember doing that. But Vancouver, Vancouver was there was a lot going on.
It seemed like it. It seems like things got very rowdy after that as well.
Oh yeah, did you see the bus photos? We were
in video, yeah.
Yeah, we got obsessed with the Venga Boys song. The Venga bus is coming. Yeah,
the Six Flags song.
Yes, that's correct. So there was a lot of listening to that on the bus. We took a bus from the tour bus drove from the venue to the airport hotel that night, with dropping people off in rooms, and that was a maybe 20-minute drive. And we played Venga Bus. We couldn't for some reason get it through the bus stereo, so everybody played it independently on their phone.
That explains a lot.
It was really great, actually. And it was Sung's idea. And I was like, this is the best idea you've ever had. Because it was true cacophony.
It's a great song. And it's perfect for a bus, because in the Six Flags commercial, there's a bus.
Yep. So that was very fun. But I'm trying to think of other memories. Let's see, museums. Vancouver Art Gallery. Fantastic. Loved it. It's just 4 floors with 6 exhibits. Really nice layout. One of the shows was this Quebecois artist, Riopel, I believe. And I have never, I think, in my life, failed to connect with the entire oeuvre of a human being more than I did with this guy's work. It was like 40s through the 90s, and none of it worked for me.
How do you spell this guy's name?
I believe it's Riopelle. Seems like he's a very well-regarded Quebecois.
Jean-Paul.
That's the one. And many different periods of his art, and literally none of it worked for me. And
it's the color choices. It's like weird clashing, kind of muddy saturation, but in a way that's totally unappealing.
Yeah, well, some of it was more vibrant. He started doing like these kind of Pollock-y things. At some point, he's just using not a brush, but with the little
palette knife.
Yeah, right. That's it. Thank you. And that stuff I didn't like. He had more figurative stuff early on, as many people do. That was the most interesting to me. But when and I love abstract expressionism. This guy's stuff didn't work for me. Just like, it's not too far removed from Pollock, which actually I'm not the hugest Pollock fan either, but like Clifford Still and other people like that, whose work I do love. This guy, I was like, wow, what is it about this that just doesn't work for me?
Because I'm looking at the color. It's like the colors hit me with these, and for these to really work, the color harmonies and the colors used need to be really good. And they're giving like hotel art. Because how do I even describe it? It's like bad color combinations, and when I say the saturation of it, it's not like they're crazy saturated. They're just sitting at a weird point where I feel like if you threw, this is always artists, if you feel like something is weird with your piece, put a black and white filter over it, and you can tell if you've been using colors next to each other that have the same saturation. I'd be curious what it would look like on this, because they're pretty flat in terms of saturation. I think is the issue that I have here.
There are a bunch of different periods, and I mean, literally, guys active from like the 40s through the 90s. Not one piece was I like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, brutal. 50 years of.
And he did well at the Venice Biennial. How'd you say? However you say that. Crushed. Big acclaimed Canadian artist. Didn't work for me. But a very nice art gallery there. Went, as I mentioned, did I talk on the show? I guess I did. Went to the Milwaukee Museum of Art. That was on the first leg. Went back to the Phoenix Art Museum, which fucking rules. Love the Phoenix Art Museum. Beautiful building, like modernist kind of concrete building. Just great stuff. I went to another one. Fuck. What's the other one? Where else were we? Oh, Seattle. Went to the Seattle Art Museum. Oh, the Seattle Art Museum had the best exhibit of my tour, which was a full Ai Weiwei retrospective.
Ooh.
And it ruled. I mean, this guy was so much more diverse in what he does than I had realized. Just like fantastic stuff, like shots of the Lower East Side in New York from the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere around there. Sculpture, furniture, interesting conceptual pieces, a bunch of like bicycle shit. Like, so great. So great. That was the biggest revelation of the tour. I was like, whoa, this is, I think the first time I really heard about him was when he was jailed in China. And it's like, kind of provocateur artist guy, activist guy is like, jailed in China. And I had never really seen, I saw one of his big pieces at the Tate Modern once, but I hadn't seen a full, like, retrospective like this. It was stunning. It was really great.
I respect people who get into a bunch of different mediums and trying different things. I think that rules.
Yeah, and starts out with like some big paintings of Mao early on, photographs.
Interesting.
The Mao paintings are amazing, which he moved away from pretty quick. But he had like tables, but the tables were hinged. It was like a solid, well, not a solid piece of wood, I guess, but like a table where two of the legs are on the floor and two of the legs are on the wall. So there's like a 90-degree thing. Some of them are like
That's
interesting, really cool stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was fantastic. Other art museums, that might have been it. I actually didn't do too many in the
Best thing you
beginning
ate?
of the tour. Well, of course, ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's my go-to in every city. Just gotta get in there and like, that's my technique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Best thing I ate, probably for real ass. Like that's probably my number one.
Mm-hmm. And your number two?
Well, let's hope not. If everyone's being careful and considerate.
I'm asking for what the list is. I'm not making any sort of innuendo here.
I ate, let's see. I did eat some very good things. Notably, in, where was it? Portland, ate a bunch of ass.
You really got me with that one, because I was going to say, if you kept going with this with increasingly worse setups, I would lose my shit. And you did it. You did it. You caught me off guard and you got me.
Snuck it in. For real, though, in Portland, I did my solo show there and then went out like for a drink with a friend. And we were at this bar and they were serving Layton. And we had to order it off the menu, which was unusual.
Mm-hmm. You love this so much. Rich, get a still of the face he's making right now. I hate this. Stop doing that with your hand.
It's my technique. Here, I'll do both techniques at once. Ready? Can I do this? I have to think about it. Yeah. Anyway, on the menu, they were serving ass. They were serving Detroit-style pizza, which was random.
Detroit-style ass?
Yeah. Where the crust kind of goes up the sides of the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was really good. Just unexpected, like late night bar in Portland, random thing. Oh, I forgot to eat before the show. Ordered a pizza hoping it would be pretty good, and it was fucking great. Where else were we? God damn. Didn't eat anything great in Nashville. Trying to think. Oh, barbecue. Got some barbecue in Texas, which was good.
Nice.
Anything really notable?
Well, but you're taking too long, so I'll pivot to another question that's related.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing in y'all's rider?
Let's see. The weirdest batteries, which really taste bad, but you got to keep them, it's for the natural acids. that are in them.
You know what? Oh my God, where'd I put it? Jory gave me a copy of Homebody Physical Edition on Switch.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And I've been wanting to, for months, lick that cartridge. And I don't know where I put it. Yeah, because I've never licked a Switch cartridge.
Oh, well. Well, we should...
I wanted that to be my first one.
Breaking news. Honestly, there's nothing that weird on the rider. Like, my thing on the rider is I want a bottle of bourbon, and I'll have a little bit of bourbon before the show, usually not after. That's not that weird, though. Dots pretzels are a go-to. Tortilla chips. There's always lunch meats, deli meats, so you can make a sandwich and that stays with the bus. Hard-boiled eggs, peeled hard-boiled eggs. Got a bag of those in every city.
Interesting.
Yep. Just a quick, like, protein snack kind of thing.
That's true, yeah.
What else is on the rider? Like protein bars, that kind of thing. It's really pretty chill stuff. And the last night we put champagne and sparkling apple cider for those who don't drink. When Audrey's around, we put Sprite, stuff like that.
Speaking of which, how did we glaze over this at the LA show?
Well, yeah, she had a walk
Ninja Audrey made an appearance.
Yep, second, and she did 2 on the tour, Kansas City and LA, and
nice.
She did great.
Not only did she make an appearance on stage, she made an appearance in front of me on the VIP balcony while you were getting corn shoved in your pants.
She shoved her way in front of you.
She did, yes. And then I was putting my hands on her head and playing with her hair as I typically do when she's near me. And then I was like, well, I hope everyone knows that I know this child and this is me.
I think given the fact that she was just chilling out there, yes.
Yes, and that she shoved her way up with the headphones on to be with us. It was very sweet.
I do this thing where I shake everybody's hand in twerp except Phobos, and then it's like he
knows what he did.
He knows what he did. And then when Audrey was at the show, I brought her on, and when I would normally shake Phobos's hand, she comes on and does it instead and flips me off, and we have a little moment. It's very cute, and she did it really, really well and had a great time.
We were screaming hard up in the VIP section. We were really going nuts.
And she looks so cute. She has a little ninja dress on, her little ninja mask, and she just kind of stolidly walks out on stage, very serious. And Phobos is very sweet with everybody's sweet with her. I mean, these guys are her uncles, and they're awesome.
I have a bulletin board next to my bed, and I have a picture of Audrey when she was 4, maybe, sitting on Meowch's lap while he's reading her a story. I was like, oh, fuck, I've known Audrey for a long time. So fucked up. She's in middle school now.
Almost her whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nuts.
I found a very cute picture of her and Meowch when she's like 3 or so, and they're just like, ooh, so cute. What else? We had a bunch of openers. Planet Booty opened in San Francisco. Wolves in LA. Open Mike Eagle, who's really great, opened for us in Austin and Dallas.
Wow.
He was awesome. Sweet guy. I'd never met him before. Really nice. Who else? This band, The Feeds, who used to be in the band Luster in the 90s, opened in Raleigh. That might have been it for openers. Say Raleigh again. First, Raleigh. Did I say it? Raleigh? I don't know what I said.
You said Raleigh.
Is it Raleigh?
Yeah, it's Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Go on. What Psycho Stick?
Anyway, Psycho Stick opened in Chicago, and they were really great for that too.
Nice.
Just hugely positive experience. No real drama. The big drama, the first leg, was canceling or postponing the Indianapolis show. But here,
that was because of the heat?
Other way. Cold.
Oh, it was
cold and slightly weather. Yeah.
Huh.
And we were worried. So this show started, or this leg started it with an outdoor show in St. Petersburg, which we were all nervous about, but ended up actually being more manageable than the fucking indoor show in Orlando 2 days later, which was so hot and gross that you walk off stage and you just die. You have to drink a gallon of water to maintain hydration. It's insane.
That's Florida, baby.
And who joined us for a lot of our Florida shows was one Mr. Nate Hansen,
I saw some footage of this.
Okay, we had a really fun time. After the St. Petersburg show, someone's like, oh my God, there's a bar down the road where everyone can smoke inside of it. And everyone's like, what? We have to go see this. And so we went to this bar, the shittiest dive bar I think I've ever seen. I mean, just like real bad, the best. Absolutely, people are smoking in there. I don't smoke. I never have. I have no interest in doing it. It was fucking awesome. The most expensive drink on the menu, I think, was $7.
Oh my God.
Maybe most. It was
I want to go get
it was $2 beers.
Smoke inside.
$2 beers. Like, you know, I bought a round of drinks for our entire table, which is like 10 people, and it cost $27.
That's crazy.
The bartender was some probably 60-ish-year-old woman who was the exact mix of sweet and cynical that you would want from such a person. You know, is like smoking while tending bar. Nobody gives two fucks. Everybody's in a great mood because they're in the worst bar in the world, which means it's the best bar in the world. Yeah, I had to get out of there because it was so smoky that I was like, I can't be in there too long. But
yeah, I mean,
really great.
The only place in Europe I've been is Germany. It's just everywhere smells like shit. But then you smoke and it's fine. And it's like, I'm smoking in a restaurant again, baby. What is it? The fucking 70s? Let's go.
It's pretty crazy. And the fact that apparently no one's shutting. I don't know how this bar stays in business. Like,
right.
They are still cruising along with like rock bottom prices. Wine, they served wine, but it was like the little airplane bottles of wine. Sutter Home,
perfect.
You know, like that's the only thing they had.
Sutter Home.
At one point I tried to order a beer and they had like 3 on tap, and the waitress goes, don't order, I don't know, whatever, Sierra Nevada. Don't order Sierra Nevada. That thing's fucked. It's like, all right, cool.
I want to go here.
You would have loved it. It
dope.
was, it was really great. And we were all there. Someone made friends with a rando dude, and he joined our table, and it was great.
You know who's really good at that? Nate.
Nate is friends with everybody. Yeah.
He just makes friends everywhere he goes.
The sweetest guy in the world. I love him so much. It was a joy to spend time with him.
I miss that motherfucker.
And he like drove pretty far to come see us, like 4 hours or something. It was not a short trip. And then we all went out to dinner, and just the best. Any other cool, I'm trying to think any other cool establishments I went to. Honestly, nothing like a couple cool record stores. Oh, bookstore in Vancouver. There's a bookstore called McLeod's, which was the giant piles of books everywhere. You can't see the salesperson because they're covered by stacks of books, and you know they're like peering out over it. Awesome. Like no pictures allowed.
That's the best kind of bookstore.
Yeah. So great. Like organized purely by subject and haphazardly at that. Fantastic.
I love that.
That was a really good one. Yeah, I think that's honestly that's it. It was a great tour. It's hot as fuck sometimes. Once we got into LA, it chilled out a bit, and then San Francisco was like 60 degrees, which was perfect. I thought I pulled such a smart move by leaving my hoodie at home, and then got to San Francisco and was like, fuck. But it was fine. Weather generally was great, except for Vancouver, which was raining. Everywhere else, we had pretty good weather. I didn't tell you this. We were pulling into Austin the night before, and tour manager goes, "Hey guys, real quick, just want to let you know before we get to Austin, there's been some potential serial killer activity around the venue." And everyone's like, "What?" I guess they've been pulling bodies out of a nearby lake, and it's all men. And
oh no, yeah, I was about to ask what the victim pattern is. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. And the cops have said, no, we don't think it's a serial killer. So I don't know exactly. I didn't really look at it, but the only time I've ever been given a potential serial killer warning, around.
Wow, that is a new one. Because usually they do that after you leave a city.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, it's a living. I had a guy in Phoenix. I'm waiting
Ass
for a
wasn't
car.
the only thing you ate on the tour.
Look, I got to get those tasty little Tootsies in my mouth, right? What?
And you
Living?
didn't specify whether the ass was alive or dead.
No, look, I have standards, and that's all I'm going to say on this matter. Other random tour stories. In Phoenix, I'm waiting for a car to take me to the art museum, and this old guy walks by me. He goes, "You need help finding anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm just waiting for a car." He goes, "Man, you ever taken one of those Waymos?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And he goes, "I tell you, AI's coming." And I'm like, I'm literally just standing there waiting for a car. I was like, yeah, our bad book clubs were coming out at this point, and I didn't want to get into it. I almost offered to tutor him in the ways of rationality.
Oh, is he an aspiring rationalist male?
I assume everybody is. You're either a rationalist or an aspiring rationalist. That's it.
Wait, can we say the really funny thing? If we don't specify who is, we're not on the episodes where anybody. Can we do it?
I'm gonna let you make that call. I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
So this is from an anonymous person who we've never talked about on the show before.
Nope.
Their dating profile, because they're a public figure, happens to be public, and it has maybe the funniest combination of words I've ever seen, which is under sexual preferences. The very first thing are the words orgasm denial, parentheses, hers. And now I can't stop making orgasm denial hers jokes because that's so fucking funny.
Because
there's other great stuff in there, but
smacks of the word unintentional. Before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to say that the tweet it reminded you of?
Oh.
You know what it is?
I know which one you're talking about, and I can't think of the phrasing exactly.
It's something like, I can't make her come. She's her own person. She can come if she wants to, which she doesn't, I guess.
Yes, I think you got it verbatim.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
So funny.
Yeah, and there's another thing in there about, like, if you want to hook up so you can brag to your grandchildren about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're willing to let you.
Right. If any aspiring rationalist females get too shy, my dance card is full.
Can you imagine the magnanimity? Is that word magnanimity? Magnanimity? Yeah. Fuck. Why? Am I confusing that with equanimity? I am. Anyway, the magnanimous nature of such a person, to allow people to fuck them. Whew, I mean, that's
to allow people to fuck them and not come.
Yeah, that's taking one for the team there, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that was about nobody that we've ever talked about, and it's a thing that we made up.
Which we love to do.
And now it's time for segments.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's been a while since we've...
Hours.
Mm-hmm. Segment denial. Hours. Well, our first segment. Now, it's been a while since we recorded, so I'm a little bit...
That's true. You're a little rusty?
A little rusty. That's actually what we called Dr. Sung.
I'm still into Dr. Sung and Mr. Sung.
Yeah.
His creepy little...
lawyer that lives under his phone. Now, I might be misremembering, but no, because it's been over a month since we recorded. We banked a bunch of those episodes before I left on tour. And we were going to try to record last week, but it didn't work. But I think, and I would like you to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe our first segment is our pop culture recommendation segment, where we and I was going to say and or. That's not what I'm going to recommend.
Oh,
not
like
the show
like the Star Wars show?
Yeah, no. Nor the logical operations. I was going to say or, but it's not or. It would be and. But and if present, a guest. if they're around, gets to talk about, discuss at whatever length they deem appropriate, a item or a work of pop culture that they want to get out there more. You know, they've seen something, they've heard something, they've experienced something in whatever fashion that they'd like to encourage others to check out as well. And if I am remembering the structure of our show correctly, the first segment here is the one in which they get to do that. So, any corrections thus far? Like,
You're doing great.
well, I know I'm doing great, but am I accurate?
I believe you are being accurate.
And you'll testify to that under oath?
For a fee.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we can bring you in as an expert witness, and there is a mandated
Yes.
fee. Yeah,
I've always wanted to do
to be. Me too. I'd like to be at literally anything. You just tell me my credentials, and I'll just put doctor in front of my name. I'll be fuck yeah, I'm an expert.
Yeah. I want to get cross-examined. Like,
Oh, me too.
it would be great.
All I want,
Because they're just
is-
coming at you.
yes, my goal is to one day in a courtroom, not as a judge, use the phrase, I'm going to allow this. It's all I've ever wanted. Or what gives you the right? That's another one I've always wanted to say.
There's
Yeah.
I've been watching this trial of a TikToker who murdered his girlfriend and her new boyfriend, or his wife. And it's one of those examples of, I love watching when a narcissist who has killed people gets on the stand, because it's just like a beautiful demonstration of all the tactics that kind of person will use to fuck you up. And also, you know that they're a murderer. And so my favorite is when it's a man and then the prosecutor's a woman, because then they cross-examine them, and you can they get so fucking mad. Anyway, but in this trial of the TikTok guy whose name is escaping me right now, the judge will hear an objection.
I believe is the one you're looking for.
The judge will hear an objection and then be like, I'll allow it. But you can tell that he's doing it because it's like, what fucking bullshit is this guy going to come up with now?
Yeah. It's great.
And it's also with this type of guy, they always get on the stand and then they're like,
Do they represent themselves or do they have lawyers?
Some of them do.
Cool guy move.
But they get up on the
Alpha
stand
move.
clearly against the counsel of their counsel.
Yes, that's
and
right.
then the prosecutor asks questions that they don't like. And then
And
they're
they
like,
get
no,
mad.
I see where you're going with this. And they try to ask them questions. And it's like, how do you think this works?
Right.
Also, do you think the jury is watching this thinking, yeah, that's a cool guy?
Cool guy move. Always take the stand. Always.
Yeah. Represent yourself. When the cops ask you if you want a lawyer, no, you don't.
No.
Answer every question they have as if you're your own lawyer, because congrats, you are now.
They're your friends. What can we say? The name of this segment is What's Poppin', and the theme song goes here.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? Great. Layden, what's poppin'?
What's poppin' for me, I'm going to reiterate a previous guest's poppin' because it's something that I checked out. And I'll do a tangential new poppin' of old content. Both of these are very old. But when Paul Gannon was recently on the show, he recommended something to me that naturally I decided to check out. So what's poppin' for me is ass. What's poppin' for me is Hell House by Richard Matheson. Thanks, yeah. I almost got away with that one. Which is the book that Paul recommended and then was like,
Yes.
It's disturbing. Fucking A right it is, but it's great.
Really?
I also don't recommend it to people, but it's so
Why?
bad.
Because it's... Not because it's upsetting, but because it's not great.
No. It's great. I just... Okay, bleep this and Rich bleep this. Okay, so So honestly, the book is fucking great. Really good. The ending is a little like Stephen King-y in that it's really great up until the last second, and then it's like, okay. Anyway, what's actually popping that's new is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which I reread because I'm on a haunted house kick. You can't beat the classics. It's fantastic. If you only ever watch the show, which is just barely based on the book is the best. So check it out. That's what's popping for me along with Ass.
That's
Brian.
great. I like Shirley Jackson. I also like this online creator I've been following, Shirley Jacks Off.
Not your best, but I'll take it.
Hey, not trying for the best. Just trying to ding it off the rim there.
Trying for the worst.
Yeah.
What's popping for you, Brian?
You miss 100% of the shits you don't take.
Okay, that's pretty good. What's popping?
What's popping for me, everybody's been talking about this. It is the best. It's the Pee-wee as himself documentary that is now out on Max, which will be HBO Max again soon. I think it is Max, right? I can't remember.
It's presently Max. It will be HBO Max again.
No, but where is it streaming? I forgot to double check that. I think that's just a second. Pee-wee as himself. Yeah, HBO. I love Paul Rubens. I love Pee Wee Herman. This documentary had me in tears / cracking up the entire time. What a wild person and personality. So fucking funny. And this is truly the most you have ever heard about Paul Rubens as a human being. He's like giving, not unfiltered, because that guy doesn't do anything unfiltered, but like for him, surprisingly candid interviews. And there's just the amount you learn about him as a person is astonishing. And he, to me, is one of the absolute all-timers. I cannot watch Pee-wee's Playhouse or Pee-wee's Big Adventure enough. And it's a very touching thing because he, spoiler alert, dies of cancer at the end. But after he has kind of, to some extent, sort of cut off contact with the filmmakers, he was supposed to do a final interview and he just didn't do it. And I think it ends with the day before he dies, he like sends a voice memo or calls the director, Matt Wolf, and they have audio of him like right before he died, but they didn't know he was sick. He didn't tell anyone. He was just very private about it. But it's an amazing document of this person who just had a distinct artistic vision and personality of what he wanted. And it is the type of thing that works for me 100%. Like, there are very few other artists where I can be like, that's the best thing I've ever seen, all of it. Pee-wee is that for me. I love Pee-wee. What happened to Paul Rubens with the arrest and the vilification, all that is a fucking tragedy. And he didn't deserve it, obviously. And it really hurt him. But I think by the end of his life, he knew how much people loved him. And the documentary is just amazing. I watched it with a couple of the Twerp guys on the bus, and we're all big Pee-wee Paul Rubens fans. And everyone was like, what? No, that? Oh, who knew that? Nobody knew that. So great.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible thing. And it's like 4 hours long total. It's 2 episodes. They're about 2 hours each, something like that. Maybe it's closer to 3. I don't know. They're pretty long episodes. Not a moment goes by where you're bored. Or at least I wasn't. I was just like invested because I just want to know about this wild person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I loved it so much. Yeah.
Well, that is what was popping for both of us. Now it's time for our final segment, which is 3 parts gratitude exercise, 1 part petty grousing. The name of the segment is Peaches and Lemons, and the theme song goes right here.
Peaches and lemons. Peaches and lemons.
Yes. I did that so fast and I didn't fuck up.
You did great.
Thanks.
That's what I was going for too with my What's Poppin' intro.
It was quick. It was like 0.5 seconds.
It was like half a Venga bus. Yeah.
We'll start with a lemon, which is a thing that is a minor bummer, annoyance, we're grousing, etc. I had several that I could use, but I think the funniest one, I was walking maybe, and I didn't realize this until I got home. I bumped into a cactus.
Oh.
And I didn't realize until I was lying down and I rolled onto my side and then felt like a dozen
Oh my God.
pricks. So I go into the back. I'm like, what the
It's
fuck
like our
is
tour
going
bus.
on? Exactly. I put on a tank top so I can see it, and it was right here. So having to like lean over in the mirror and look, the spikes were indistinguishable from hair, like hair. So I couldn't find them to pick them out. I had to like test it by seeing where it hurt. Here's the life hack. Elmer's glue. If it would have been so funny if the lid wasn't all the way on and I dropped it. So you slather the area with Elmer's glue. So I'm sitting there like a fucking moron covered in Elmer's glue. But then when you peel it off, which is always fun, it gets it out. So
What'd you do this weekend, Layden? Well, I glued my back again.
yeah, sitting around just slathered in glue.
Shoulder Brazilian.
This is similar, but I've had friends who will do, if you're at a convention, someone can, request that you do a drawing, and they'll do the drawing while you walk around, and you come back and you get your drawing. Nice little commission. I have friends who like won't do not safe for work stuff. Like, I'm not going to draw Bulma from Dragon Ball covered in cum. And there was one.
Let me just cross something off the list.
There's one of my friends who. There was a guy who was really, like, he came up and basically asked for something that had come in it and then left and then came back and was like, okay, could you give me this character, but they're stuck in a bunch of glue? Like, what? What the fuck is wrong with you? That's my lemon. What's your lemon?
Well, the Arthur C. Clarke quote. Any sufficiently advanced cum is indistinguishable from glue.
Great work.
My lemon is, I'm back from tour, and I had a friend who was in town just for today and arranged to meet them. They were coming from further south and arranged to meet them in Santa Monica, thinking this is a good, middle ground. Santa Monica normally takes, I don't know, let's say up to 45 minutes from my house. Hour and a half today. I was just like, I just got home. I just want to go have coffee with this friend. I even left early. I brought a book because I was like, oh, I'll be there early. I'll just sit in the cafe. And I go constant like, okay, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. Actually 15. Actually 20. I was like, I was so tired. And, I didn't do anything wrong. I just got fucked by traffic. And I was so mad. That kind of mad where I called Rachel and I was like, I'm stuck in traffic. I'm so mad right now. Just to have like some sympathy. And she's like, that really sucked.
Was it better or worse on the way back?
Better. 25 minutes home. Like easy getting home. But getting there, I don't even know what was going on. Like normally on Mondays, it's not too bad, but it was just so fucked today. So yeah, just get back. Just want a day home. I just want to chill out and play video games and listen to a podcast. And very excited to see this friend. But just got fucked by traffic.
Yeah.
That's my lemon.
Now it's time for peaches, which are 3 things that are good, cool, whatever. I'll go. I already said being able to see, game changer. Also, I got new glasses that I like. They're all pretty cool. The ones
they look great. I like them.
Thank you. These are my my 80s Radio Shack employee glasses.
They're very nice. Yep.
I really like them. I didn't like them initially, and then I sent a picture to McKenna, and she was like, no, those are hot. What are you talking about?
They're great.
And she's right. My second peach is, I thought, and this is entirely because of Wolves of Glendale recommending these, I thought that kettle corn popcorners were the best flavor.
Pop tarts? Popcorners? What's a popcorner? I don't know what a popcorner is.
Brian, they're the snack cake sensation sweeping the nation. You didn't see their Breaking Bad Super Bowl commercial?
I think I had to step backstage at that point in their set.
This is when they were on the show a while back, and they recommended, because I asked them what their tour snack is. or whatever. Anyway, popcorners, they're shaped like chips, but it's like a rice, like a puffed rice situation.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Fucking delicious. I thought that the best flavor was kettle corn. No, it's cinnamon crunch. The cinnamon crunch puts all the other ones to shame. If you see them, get them. They're fucking amazing. They're not too sweet, and you hate cinnamon, so you don't
do hate
like. I'm
cinnamon.
speaking to the audience now. They're like churros. It's the best. I have 2 bags of them. I'm about to go crazy on this shit. That's my second peach. My third peach is that Susie will send me stuff that she's 3D printed for me and all sorts of like little psychic circle things.
That's nice.
And she got me a
Oh my
Labubu,
gosh.
and she
Wow.
3D printed this little ghost face headband
That's
for
very
it.
cute. Yeah.
She also gave me a ghost face lighter cover that's amazing. But in the past, she's given me like gua sha tools. She'll print me like perfume sample holders, like
Nice.
just extremely sweet. And
She's
I love
the
it.
best.
She is the best. Brian, when are your peaches?
Well, I said them all already. Tour was great. I was able to make Audrey's graduation, and I got a bunch of sleep last night. Those are my 3 peaches. Like, I spent
Amazing.
this entire episode was me just talking about peaches. So that's all I got for today.
Well, and that's our show. Brian.
That's our show. Yeah, we're back. Back after it, getting that bread on the Sigma grind set, of course, as always. And yeah, chasing after the big old tit of fame.
Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Yeah, if you're in, hold on, one more recommendation. Denver. Go downtown and try the ass.
There we go. See you next week, everybody.
Bye. Leighton Night is produced by Brian Wecht and Leighton Gray. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/Leighton Night. Follow us on Twitter at Leighton Night, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at leightonnight@gmail.com.